Have you ever noticed how the theme of so many cartoons with a bad guy in them, and even movies sometimes, is about, I'm going to take over the world? And it happens over and over and over, and especially cartoons, like I said a moment ago. But what also usually happens is they aren't very successful. In John chapter 12, Jesus, in verse 31, mentions someone that he calls the ruler of this world. Obviously, he's talking about Satan, someone who wanted to take over the world, and just like the cartoons and the movies, neither was he very successful. In fact, in John 12, verse 31, Jesus says, "Now is the judgment of the world. Now the ruler of this world must be cast out." Now, obviously, we have to understand that when Jesus uses the word world here, he's not talking about the earth in the sense of a physical planet, but he's talking about the world in a spiritual sense. We find that used by the Apostle John in 1 John 2 verse 15 when he says, "Love not the world." He's not talking about the planet or the dirt and the grass and the trees. He's talking about this spiritual existence that the Bible defines as the world. And he says, "Love not the world, nor the things of the world," because all of those things, the lust of the flesh, the lust of the eyes, and the pride of life, are not of the Father. And so when Jesus says, now is the time for judgment on the world, that's what he's talking about. And notice he also says it's judgment of the world. Jesus, in this context, is talking about going to the cross, and there he will die for the sins of all mankind. You see, our sins obviously bring about our judgment. But Jesus is referring to his death on the cross as the judgment of the world, because there he will die for all sins. And then he tells us that it's also the time for the ruler of this world to be cast out. This harkens back to Genesis chapter 3 verse 15, when Satan, in the form of the serpent, had tempted man and caused Adam and Eve to sin. And we remember the prophecy there that one day enmity will be put between the seed of the serpent and the seed of man, through the seed of woman. And that this will crush his head. It says of the serpent that you will bruise his heel, which is not a fatal wound, but he will crush your head. That's talking about Satan. That's talking about what Jesus would accomplish on the cross when he died for the sins of all mankind, and he would cast out the ruler of the world, and he would crush his head. You see, the cross, while yes, it was a place of death, most significantly, it was a place of victory.